Have you heard of the foul-mouthed parrot of President Andrew Jackson, who couldn't hold his saucy beak at the funeral? Today, we will peel the layers of history to uncover the lesser-known facts about US presidents. From owning 36 hounds to having lost an election for failing to provide the voters alcohol, this video will reveal the most amusing facts about the US presidents over time. So settle in for a ride full of strange facts and weird passions of our past leaders. Thomas Jefferson. From stargazing to architecture to believing he would find ancient animals still roaming the earth, the third president of the United States was known for his unconventional interests and many passions. As an avid reader, Thomas Jefferson invented the rotating book stand, which was a functional solution for his habit of reading multiple books simultaneously. In addition to being an inventor, Jefferson was also an architect and designed the rotunda at the University of Virginia and his home in Monticello, both of which are on the World Heritage List. He is also credited with designing what may be the first observatory in the United States to further the study of astronomy. There is also speculation that the real reason he sent Lewis and Clark on their very long walk was because he believed they would find mastodons in the yet unexplored West in North America. The bones they did find were sent to the White House, and it is said that Jefferson would arrange them all over the floor of the White House. Abraham Lincoln. Known as America's most revered leader, Abraham Lincoln was the 16th US president. Lincoln is best known for signing into law the Emancipation Proclamation, the law that freed the slaves within the Confederacy. Lincoln, a man with many wonderful attributes, was known as the king of wit and humor. He had a punchline for every occasion. He believed so much in the power of laughter that he often devised hilarious speeches that left the audience in stitches. He was also a great wrestler who pursued a successful wrestling career and lost only one in an estimated 300 matches. No, we aren't kidding here. As a sportsman, he was also quite the smart mouth. It is said after taking care of his opponent at one particular match, he challenged the entire crowd of onlookers. We're sorry to say there were no takers. Outside of his fierce sportsmanship, he is also the first president to hold a patent. While he was working aboard a steamboat, he devised a method for keeping ships afloat when navigating shallow waters. This patent was awarded in 1849. A man of many talents, it seems. Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States, was famous for his quirky passions. Be it his love for boxing and wrestling, an array of wild pets wandering around the White House, or skinny dipping in the Potomac, Teddy surely knew how to make a wave. President Theodore Roosevelt took the tradition of presidential pets to a whole different level. During his term, the White House accommodated many different wild animals, from a bear cub named Jonathan Edwards to a badger, hyena, and a not-so-wild one-legged rooster, among many others. Teddy, being well known for his love of fitness, took up jiu-jitsu after being blinded in one eye during a boxing match at the White House. It is also said that during a speech in 1912, he was shot in the chest by an assassin. Imagine the panic. Teddy, however, stood tall and continued his speech for over an hour, with the bullet in his chest, before seeking a doctor, brushing it off as part of the business. Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson was the 7th President of the United States. The man was known as Old Hickory for his stubborn will to serve alongside his troops during the Battle of New Orleans, 1812. President Jackson was known to love a good time. At his inauguration party, he invited the public for a wild celebration at the White House. And guess what? Everyone came. It didn't take long for things to get out of control. It was apparently quite a party. It took a whole week to clean up and put the White House back in order. In another amusing tale, Jackson's parrot had this taxing habit of cursing. It is said that this foul-mouthed friend caused quite the scene at Jackson's funeral, so much so that he had to be removed from the funeral for using some choice language and disrupting the event. Talk about an unforgettable farewell. President Jackson was also an avid lover of dueling. He loved to resolve conflicts through dueling contests and is thought to have been involved in over a dozen duels. During one such duel, he was shot in the chest, barely missing his heart. Anyone else would have collapsed, but Jackson stood his ground and shot back, prevailing over his opponent. As is evident by his dueling ways, Jackson was also an avid gambler. It is said that as a teenager he gambled away his grandfather's inheritance on a trip to Charleston, South Carolina, and had a passion for horse races. It is also true that Jackson was the keeper of cheese. In 1835, he received a 1,400-pound wheel of cheese and kept it in the White House lobby for 2 years. James Madison. Sometimes referred to as the father of the Constitution, Madison was the smallest U.S. president to date. He stood 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighed only 100 pounds. Young James Madison once lost a vote to the House of Delegates because he refused to give alcohol to the voters, a custom at the time called swilling the planters with bumbo. His opponent, however, who was also coincidentally a tavern keeper, kept with the custom and won the vote. General Ulysses S. Grant. General Grant, the 18th President of the United States of America, was a man of funny contradictions. With a legacy as a Civil War hero, General Grant suffered from a case of gory irony. One particular quirk about him was that he couldn't stand the sight of blood. As a Civil War hero and bloodshed forming pretty much the cornerstone of war, we can only guess what happened when General Grant saw blood. General Grant was also scheduled to join President Lincoln in his theater box on the night of his assassination, but he and his wife missed the event since they decided to travel to New Jersey to visit their children. Grant regretted his absence as he claimed he could have stopped the assassination if he had been there. We are yet to picture his dramatic encounter with John Wilkes Booth in saving President Lincoln. And there you have it, some unusual facts about the US presidents. From wild presidential pets to White House parties, our leaders have been the epitome of quirk, wit, and entertainment. If you want more such quirky tales and saucy details, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.